Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be having a Wanderlei Silva fighter showcase, and this was requested by a subscriber. So shout out to Chef Ramsey. He requested that I use Wanderlei. He always supports the channel, likes the videos, comments. So shout out to you. And yeah, whenever you do request a fighter video, I will get around to recording it, so please just leave in the comments below suggestions. I'm currently working on a Gilbert Burns fighter showcase, which should be out after this one, Hamzat Chimaev, and then a Saki one as well. So yeah, whenever you do comment, do try and do them as quick as possible. Sometimes things just get in the way. For instance, I managed to get the Wanderlei gameplay first, then the other three, so that's why this video is going up first. But yeah, getting into the actual gameplay here, Silva's just ferocious. That's the word to use. Vicious, mean, and that's the fight style you've really got to try and replicate when using him. You really want to break your opponent, push them towards the edge, rip their body, and rip their head health. Signature hooks, as you can see there, is just very weird style of throwing hooks, but when you piece it together, they do a lot of damage. So that's exactly what I was trying to do. Fortunately, I got two favourable matchups in the sense that this opponent here is using a created fighter who predominantly wanted to stand, wasn't utilising kicks too much, which was perfect for me, and wasn't looking to utilise wrestling. And my second opponent is going to be a Nick Diaz player, who's a high level player and beat me before, so that's look forward to watching that gameplay. But again, that's another favourable matchup just purely because it's going to be predominantly kept at boxing range, and that's where Silva really thrives. And the power I just felt when using him, I hadn't used him for a long time before this was requested, and this here is the first fight in which I did use him, and I was just trying to get to the feel of how to use him, how fast his punches are, how strong he feels, and how powerful. And one thing is, I don't think I felt a more powerful fighter in this division here, other than probably Jared Cannonier, who I feel like just edges on the power advantage. But Wanderlei Silva definitely feels extremely fast and extremely powerful. And when you're ripping the head, it's important to rip the body, because in 5-round fights, if you're fighting someone that predominantly is looking to stand and bang with you, after a while they may start to realise that they're going to lose the fight in that fashion, so they may switch and then start to look to use wrestling. And as long as you rip the body, they're not going to have that much stamina to, use certain denials and certain transitions. So it's very important to really work your opponent's body, especially across a 5-round fight, because body health is extremely important to aspects such as recovery. So yeah, it's very important to rip the body as well as the head when using Wanderlei Silva. And you can see here that I'm coming up against an opponent who's extremely skilled, got a lot of points, and has beaten me before, and is using Nick Diaz. And when you're coming up against a Nick Diaz, they normally look to predominantly rip your body and, keep it standing. I know Nick's got that really cheesy kick that you can throw from anywhere and still hits, which I don't get why he has that, but yeah, he has that kick. And Nick Diaz also has extremely good submission offense, and that's one thing that you have to take in consideration whenever you're fighting a Nick player, is that Nick player doesn't necessarily have to look for a takedown. Off a knockdown, they can get on top of you and submit you. So you have to do a lot of good work on the feet and always expect the fight to go to the ground whenever there is a knockdown, because it can always end like that, especially if you've got the advantage on the feet here. So this one here I knew was going to be an extremely difficult fight. I was expecting a lot of pressure from Nick very early on, and that's exactly what I'm getting here. You can see Nick's trying to back me up, really rip my block, trying to break through as quick as possible, and in order to retaliate I have to do the same thing. And you can see that I'm trying to work the body, throw in the uppercut, trying to catch Nick potentially going to the body, and that's something that I don't do very often, is throw the uppercuts. That's something I'm really trying to mix in and work on, and I felt that it's really improving my overall game. And if you just look at the distance this fight is being fought in, it's insane. It's like a telephone booth. Neither of us are looking to step back right now. My feet are planted and I'm ripping combinations to the body and to the head, both doing significant amount of damage to each other's block and head health, because obviously after the block's broken, the shots are going to start landing to the head clean. Another uppercut landed, double hooks to the body. And this is the exact style of fight you need. You can see that Nick there throws the teep just to get some room to breathe, do a little damage to the body as well. Another uppercut lands, and I'm not sure how those uppercuts weren't doing more damage, to be honest with you, watching this back, because they were landing flush, and normally if my opponent does that to me, I get stunned pretty quickly. Speaking of getting stunned, Nick then stuns me, rips to the body, and then rips to the head. So not the greatest start, but this is the type of fight you can expect with Wanderlei Silva. If you're going to not take a back foot, of course you're going to take some damage. It's just about being smart and looking to damage your opponent back. And that's exactly what I'm looking to do here. You can see Nick still trying to work the body, being patient, working the head. The uppercut is definitely landing at the moment. That's probably the strike I'm having the best success rate with. You'll see that I'm not opting to use leg kicks or knees or anything along those lines. I'm sticking it purely to boxing as much as possible. If need be, I'll throw a leg kick here or there. Uppercut finally lands, and you can see the extent of damage it's done. Nick was hurt very, very badly there. I don't know how Nick stayed on his feet, especially throwing. I think I threw like 3 hooks there that all landed. And Nick somehow stayed on his feet. Uppercut again lands. And yeah, like I said, that's definitely been my best shot this fight. Threw a lot there. You can see my stamina management wasn't the greatest in this round, but purely because of the damage being done, that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Sometimes you can sacrifice stamina for damage done, especially if your opponent is also utilizing a lot of stamina. The only issue is if you're using stamina and not getting damage done, and your opponent's stamina is in a good position, that's when you're in a lot of trouble. You can see here, another knockdown, push Nick against the fence, back away, uppercut to the body, and yeah, just ferocious style of gameplay. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm really trying to put the pressure onto my opponent, and this is not usually how I fight, but you know, when using Wanderlei Silva, what's to be expected? You need to be uber aggressive, and yeah, Nick right now is not in the best position. Body health's quite low, head health's quite low, and here, show no respect, jump on top, trying to finish Nick Diaz, showing no respect for the ground game of Nick, that is, just purely because I thought that his head health was going to be in a position where it'd be easy to get Nick out of there. Unfortunately, that was not the case, and I've got to be careful here with a lot of things. Of course, Nick has the rubber guards and has good transitions, and as I'm saying that, you'll see that now Nick's ended up on top, and this isn't a favourable position, and this is where I maybe shouldn't have jumped on top, because I was talking about how good Nick's submission game is. Nick has relatively good ground and pound, but it's mainly the submission offense that you've got to worry about, and I decided to jump on top and get myself reversed. So not the smartest thing to do, and now Nick's on my back, which again is not a great position. It's not ideal, especially considering the work I was doing on the feet and how good that was going. Posture's up here, throwing some ground and pound, and fortunately Nick's stamina isn't in the greatest position. I tried to go to half guard, which I don't know why I done that, because I always deny those transitions, but yeah, my opponent denied it as well, so I don't know what I was expecting. It's not the hardest transition to deny, and now Nick is in a top mount, fortunately get to half guard, and right here it's just about surviving, not letting Nick do too much damage with ground and pound, and keep stamina in a good position to not get submitted. Fortunately, I ended up on top here. I'm just going to be patient, look to see what Nick tries to do here. I know that as soon as it gets back onto the feet, I'm at the advantage, and I was extremely surprised that Nick actually got up. I'm pretty sure that that was probably the half guard sweep that just didn't go through. The input probably didn't register on Nick's behalf, but another knockdown here. So this has been a very, very significant round in terms of damage done, and sometimes this is where I'm talking about the trade-off to stamina and damage done is definitely worth it. I lost a lot of stamina, but the damage done whilst doing so has significantly impacted my opponent to the point where it doesn't take much to drop Nick Diaz. So sometimes in these fights you can afford to lose stamina. That was 4 knockdowns that round. And coming into round 3, I believe, it's been after a very, very dominant round 2. You can definitely argue 10-8. I mean, 4 knockdowns, that's unheard of, even though Nick done some good work on the ground. definitely not equivalent to 4 knockdowns. Now right here you can see going forward, breaking the block, working the body, drop Nick again. And one thing about Nick is just the pure grit and survival. I mean, Nick's just taking so much damage right now, but somehow still getting up, still functioning, still looking to throw combinations of his own. And that's just all credit to the chins of the Diaz brothers. You see, throw into the body as well, trying to drain me. But one thing that's actually surprised me was how high my stamina was at this point. I'm not saying it's in the greatest position, but for the amount of strikes thrown, definitely not in the worst position, especially with the damage done. Get stunned there, and that's obviously because my head health isn't in the greatest position as well. Nick's managed to do some significant damage to my head health and body. My body health isn't in the greatest position, but my health stats definitely aren't as bad as Nick's right now. Putting on the pressure here, as I have done the whole fight, get the knockdown, look to get the cage finish, get this transition here to get on top, and I think I opt to get up because I don't want to get caught on the ground again. This is where you've got to learn from your previous mistakes. Nick was reluctant to get up, so I backed away to get the ref to stand it up, and then he eventually decided to get up here. Another knockdown. And while this is playing out, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that's been supporting the channel, whether that's liking the videos or commenting or liking the streams, commenting on the streams, just watching the streams and interacting. I just want to say a big thank you to all you guys. It means a lot. Closing in on 300 subscribers now. I think I'm at 292, so yeah, once again, thank you for all the support. If you enjoyed the video today, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more UFC 4 content, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.